Hello and welcome to Lost Love Chronicles.
I've been in this relationship since 2010, and we've built a life together with 2 kids. Currently, I'm finishing nursing school and dipping into my savings to keep our family afloat, while she isn't working and is frequently dealing with alcohol issues. This has been an ongoing problem, with her denying it at times and admitting it the next day. Last weekend, things took a disturbing turn. I woke up around 2 a.m. to find her phone buzzing. Thinking it was an emergency with her grandparents, I checked it out, only to discover Facebook notifications. She had added an old ex, who was now a felon with serious charges. This guy was charged with violent crimes and had recently come out of jail. They were exchanging hearts and flirtatious messages. I checked further and found a few videos where she was getting pumped by him. I transferred all the videos and screenshots to my phone and walked out of the bedroom. I confronted her in the morning. She started crying and later promised to stop talking to him and delete Facebook account. I was having none of it and told her to leave the house and go live with her parents. She started hyperventilating and collapsed on the floor. I picked her up and dropped her on the bed. I then left for office. In the evening, she begged and asked for forgiveness. I told her that I have not made my mind and will decide later. Fast forward to a recent Friday, she left for a supposed group therapy meeting but returned 4 hours later, drunk and unhelpful with the kids. I checked her phone again and discovered she was still in contact with the ex, making plans for a hotel stay. I confronted her in the middle of the night and things escalated. She tried to gaslight me by saying that I am not man enough and I am lame. She then added by saying that her bad boy has a larger tool than me and he makes her feel full and complete. Only he can make her climax. She then changed the topic and accused me of infidelity, then wished our kids were never born. They are a burden, and she would have been better off without them. I was secretly recording all of this. I told her to leave immediately and never look back. She packed some of her belongings and left. The next morning, I discovered money missing from my safe and my keys gone. I had to change the locks. I called the cops and soon 2 were on my door. I explained them the situation and they asked if I want to press charges. I did press charges for theft. What's even more disheartening is discovering that she's launched a smear campaign within my group of friends. Thankfully, they've been supportive enough to send me screenshots. Strangely, though, she never asks about the kids or shows any concern for them. I went to my lawyer and explained the whole situation. He suggested to get a restraining order and asked to share the video with the CPS to strengthen my case for child custody. I asked him to start the divorce proceedings. In the evening, I got a call from an unknown number and I answered. It was my wife and her new partner. They called me names and then threatened me of dire consequences if I do not remove the charges. I hung up and called the cops. I explained them about the call and asked to ensure my safety. A friend of mine also suggested to get a firearm for safety. I got myself a pistol. 3 days later, I heard some noises outside my house. I had installed CCTV after my wife had threatened me. I saw that there were 3 people outside my house trying to break in. I called the cops and moved to my kids' room and had my gun in my hand. I was scared for my kids. Soon enough, I heard sirens and there was chaos outside my house. There were gunshots and I guess I heard someone yell, "Shot shooting." The cops rang the doorbell and asked me to come out. I then got to know that 2 people had been shot and 1 had died. My wife had received a wound on her leg, although she did not have any weapon on her. The partner was only injured, but the 3rd guy was dead. She was arrested and taken away. We had her served in the jail, and all my divorce proceedings she came in the orange jumpsuit with handcuffs. A few months later, I was a free man. Last week was tough. I hit a point where, not that I missed her, but I missed having help with the kids and housework. Juggling my regular work and school commitments at night, I found myself lost in thoughts, wondering what if. Then reality kicks in, and I remind myself of what I have in life and where I'm heading. I've realized that my climb to the top of my mountain is far easier without her dead weight. I've come to terms with everything that's happened. My home is now peaceful, like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. The kids and dogs behave better, and I'm starting to look forward to each new day. She left for a felon, and now she is one. 3 years later, she was released, and she came to our house. I did not allow her to see the kids and called the cops. She was asked to leave, and she left crying. I filed a restraining order against her and got it soon. She sends miss you texts and unday pics daily. I'm contemplating whether I should lure her to my house to get her arrested. Strangely, she never talks about our kids. It's always about our old relationship and how she wants to fix the unfixable. Now for the second story. In the last 7 months, I've been with a really hot girl. We had some great times, but things took a dark turn. 2 months ago, I caught her talking to her abusive ex, the one who left her with a permanent back injury. She swore she hadn't spoken to him in 4 years. When I tried to break it off, she threatened suicide, claiming she had nobody but me. Fearing the worst, I forgave her, but it only made things worse. She interpreted my forgiveness as me being a doormat, affecting my self-worth. Just recently, I caught her leaving her house dressed up, getting into some guy's car. It's clear she's spending the night with him. When I confronted her, she dismissed it, saying she was tired and heading to bed. The trust is shattered, and I'm grappling with the impact on my self-worth. I ignored all the warning signs because she was attractive, convincing myself I couldn't do any better. Now I find myself with low self-image, down in the dumps, and hurting from seeing her with that guy. She doesn't know it yet, as she's having a good time and not calling me, but I've taken all the necessary steps to break up using the indifference method. I blocked her from sending me texts, changed her contact name to Do Not Answer, and set a quiet ring on. I have 2 months left on my lease, but I'm moving out this week, eager to reclaim my life, rebuild my confidence, and get back into the game with someone else. At almost 28, this was my first relationship, making it tough for me. I'm trying to chalk it up to life experience and move on. It's not going to be easy, but I'm staying positive, keeping my mind occupied. Posting this is therapeutic for me, and any advice, comments, or thoughts from fellow Redditors going through something similar would be greatly appreciated. Last night was tough, but I stayed up till 4, had a few beers, and surprisingly felt good. I'm trying to shift my perspective, seeing this breakup as a weight lifted off my shoulders rather than a loss of love. The truth is, she never really cared about me, so it's not as tragic as it initially seems. But even with that understanding, it's still tough for me. The missed calls are piling up, and there are 2 voicemails I haven't listened to yet. I'm debating whether to listen to them, and I have a feeling the calls will only become more frequent as the day goes on. There's this idea of sending her a sharp text like "take a hint, party girl," but deep down, I know she's not even worth that much of my energy. I need to stick to my guns. Today is going to be challenging, and I'll be in and out here seeking support. Please keep the responses coming. It's been incredibly helpful for me. If what I just wrote sounds like a bad idea, go ahead and give me a verbal kick in the ass. I need to stay focused on the bigger picture. Thanks, everyone. Update: she's been relentless with calls and messages. I got a few more calls and 3 voicemails expressing worry and asking me to call back. It's getting tempting to respond, but I know I need to hold my ground. I'm working tonight, and the fits of wanting to tell her off come and go. I'll stay occupied and try to have a good time. Exhausted, heading to bed, and we'll update tomorrow. Last update: had a close call signing up for Craigslist. She managed to call me during the verification process. I picked up without saying anything, and sure enough, it was her. She called back, not blocking her ID, and I didn't pick up. Staying strong, one step at a time.
Dear listener, if you have reached this far, please click on the subscribe button. It will be a great help.